Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Kalayim La Adonai Yahweh, Bashim Shamalak Yahushai, Bashim Kakdash, double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone, peace, citation, and hope for life. Shalom. And the title of this video is going to be Man Shoots and Kills Woman Over Child Custody in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And this is a very short article, so it's not going to be too much of a long lesson. So just let me start off with this. Man shoots, kills woman when she tries to serve him child custody papers, police say. The Tulsa Police Department said a warrant has been issued for Charles Maurice Colbert, who also goes by Charles Tucker. He has been charged with first-degree murder, but is still on the run. Tulsa Police Department. And this was published on May 13, 2022 at 3:40 p.m. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Gray's News. A man shot and killed a woman in Tulsa while she was trying to serve him child custody papers, according to police. The Tulsa Police Department said a warrant has been issued for Charles Maurice Colbert, who also goes by Charles Tucker. He has been charged with first-degree murder, but is still on the run. According to police officers were called to a home on Saturday afternoon in reference to a homicide. During the investigation, detectives learned that the victim, 38-year-old Ashley Sneed, was having an argument with Colbert, who was the father of her 1-year-old child. When she attempted to serve him child custody papers, Colbert became very angry and shot and killed Sneed. Police said Colbert then fled the scene. And going into another article, this is how the woman that, he had a kid for, this how she looked. And pretty much they said that he shot her about several times after a domestic related argument. And the suspect, the victim later died of her injuries after, having an argument with the suspect. And pretty much, like, from right there, they said that there were multiple children who were at the home at the time of the shooting, Watkins said, though their child was not in the home. And they said investigation is currently ongoing as police are searching for a suspect. So I'm just going to bring out scriptures from right here now. Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. And when it's coming to a lot of you wicked ass women, you're gonna start realizing that eventually this whole system that Esau has created for y'all to screw this man over, financially, with child support or domestic abuse charges or alimony charges, any fucking way that you could find to screw your man over or other men over, thinking that you're going to have the liberty to do so, is just going to lead to your demise. And depending on how the Most High is going to judge you, he could have it to where he could make these men snatch you against your will, kidnap you, and make you and torture you for days going to weeks and even months, And regardless of whatever type of judgment you receive, just know that it was a spirit created for vengeance. And the Most High, he's a man of war. So he has a lot of judgment coming out to you wicked ass woman for trying to revolt against your man and trying to think that you could, screw your man over and shit. And thinking that you could use, the system that Esau has created to basically put a man under your feet. And That's why the system has to go down, because when it goes down, you women gonna go down along with it, and you're gonna realize in that day that a man is gonna be, you know, your prize in that day, and not just any man, but a man of the Lord, to be exact. I'll just bring out more precepts from there. So Ecclesiastes chapter 25 verse 13, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman, and any affliction but the affliction from them that hate me, and any revenge but the revenge of enemies. There is no head above the head of a serpent, and there is no wrath above the wrath of an enemy. And from right there, considering how like the serpent pretty much deceived, let's just say in the Garden of Eden, deceived Eve, with false philosophies and things of that nature, shows you, and the serpent is really still working with these women, to be honest, to, still deceive them in this society with the feminism, and the point I want to make is that these women are in league with Esau, and we always say, like, in the truth, like, mostly our women, especially starting with the black woman, she's our worst enemy. And 2/3 in general of our people, they're our enemies, for the most part. And when it's coming to amongst the 2/3, you have the so-called black bitch. That's like the worst enemy of all, So I don't know if that woman that he was with, if she could have been a Jake, or if she could have been a heathen. Sometimes you can't judge by appearance, but for the most part, it's just a lot of women in general just have junking of that Babylonian juice, in terms of thinking that they could be on the same level as a man, or thinking that they should be over men, and they got it fucked up if they really think that, that's how they're supposed to be living. And that's why the Lord is judging y'all, because see, that way of living is completely contrary to the scriptures, thinking that you could take a man's child, now that's his seed, and thinking that you could charge him by making him pay you child support money. And it doesn't make fucking sense for them to say child support money if basically the child is not receiving the money, like the money's not going to the child's account, if they're not finding a way to, kind of like monitoring the mother's transactions, to making sure that, and trying to do like some, let's say, monthly sort of checkups to see what is she spending, the money on for her child. If that money is just going towards her expenses, and when it's coming to how wicked these women are, a lot of the times they will use that money for, to cater for their damn self, to buy all that fucking fake ass witchcraft makeup, and buying all these fake eyelashes, basically these fake aesthetics to make them look even more beautiful, artificial beauty, if you will. And they also go as far as to buying the wigs and weaves and things of that nature, things that fulfill their lust, and sometimes they'll have their children starving. So yeah, man, a lot, just believe that these women are pretty much like, our enemies, and especially the women of our nation, to be exact. And you best believe that all the scriptures say, Ecclesiastes chapter 25 verse 19, and it's good that it's in this chapter. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. And that right there, man, shows you, like, when a woman wants to have revenge on you, like, there's no revenge, what you call it, that's greater than the revenge of of an enemy, especially if she's a damn woman in a way, because the woman is the most wicked. You know, they're the most wicked of all. You know, and you can only imagine if this was a so-called black bitch, it would have probably been far worse. He would have probably had to torture that bitch. So, scriptures even say in Ecclesiastes chapter 25 verse 16, I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. And I don't know how wicked that woman was, but for a man to kill you, you must have been some wicked ass bitch. I'm just saying, because you know, honestly, it'll have to take like a a compilation of fucking of shit that you put the man through sometimes just for him to go as far as to killing you. You know. Another way to really show you that this society is really so backwards is for the simple fact that that whole shit where a woman could leave you, take your kids, and basically, through the court system have you to see maybe your kid like once a month or however much they declare that you could see your kid throughout the month, or throughout the weeks. And it's really fucked up that you have to pay that bitch, child support money as well. And the scriptures that goes up against that type of, that type of law that Esau has. And this is the scripture right here. Exodus chapter 21 verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty and marriage shall he not diminish. And if he do not these three unto her, then she shall go out free without money. You see? So that's how you know the society that Esau has set up is a complete satanic upside down society. It's all fucked up how a woman gets a profit from either divorce, either child support, or it's really just fucked up. That's why, like, there ain't no wickedness that's greater than the wickedness of a woman. Like, to be honest, like when you have to deal with an abusive mother or an abusive girlfriend or an abusive wife, which is worse than a girlfriend, because when you fucking sign those papers and you married to that bitch now, and she could divorce you any given point in time, and you don't even want to divorce her because basically you're gonna lose out, if you ain't signed the prenup. And if she have kids with her, oh boy, that's even worse, and she gonna try to put those kids against you and shit. Shows you why in the scriptures it tells you not to seek a wife. And Isaiah chapter 3 verse 12 says, as for my people, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. And honestly, when it's coming to children, Esau's a fucking child that's in rulership. So of course he's gonna set every law against, every law that's in his society is gonna basically be contrary to the laws of the Yahweh Bashem Yashai that's written in these scriptures. And those are our oppressors. And I did previous videos about Esau being a child, like he's a child in rulership, a stupid one, in fact. And then these women, they're like pretty much they're like overgrown kids too. And that's why a man has to be over them to rule them, because a woman can't rule, a woman can't make decisions. They're gonna do some stupid shit and they're not gonna understand the shit that they do, and they're gonna regret it down the line. They can't think for themselves. They can't make decisions for themselves. And the leaders of our people, to be honest, will be the ones thinking that you know, that this whole feminism, this whole feminist-based society, you know, they think it's good for women to have the same amount of rights as men, and it's completely not. Like, it's going off, to be honest, you know. And you best believe the leaders of our people, to be honest, they're all sellouts, and of course they're gonna go and be in union with this devil Esau, and they're gonna follow after every single wicked way and not speak against the wickedness of Esau. They're gonna follow every way of this devil. And in Jeremiah chapter 4 verse 30, and when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with painting, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Thy lovers will despise thee, they will seek thy life. For I have heard as of a woman in travail, and the anguish as of her that bringeth forth her first child, the voice of the daughter of Zion, that bewaileth herself, that spreadeth her hands, saying, Woe is me now, for my soul is weary because of murderers. Yup. And that's the type of time that you know, that's coming to you, woman. That's going to be your fate very soon. Jacob's trouble, where you're going to be crying and running away from all these men that's going to be trying to come after you for putting them in this similar situation of this article that I read. Yeah. Or some of you women, like I said, y'all do, you know, there's no limit to your fucking wickedness, so only God knows, you know, the right judgment for y'all, and only he knows all the wickedness that you have done on this side and your past lives as well, you know, because in the scripture there is something called reincarnation. I did lessons on that, and there's you know, past lives and things of that nature. So, and women have a lot of blood on your hands in terms of some of the men that have been fighting over other men, beating other men up for y'all, men that you have gotten killed, murdered because of y'all stupidity, you know, being adulterous as hell. And sometimes not even letting the man know that you have a boyfriend and you have another man you're dealing with, and then you'd be like, oh, he's just my friend, and next thing you know, the two guys are clashing with each other, you know. Yeah. So you're gonna have some men that's gonna start putting judgment upon y'all, and number one thing y'all do with the court system, sometimes y'all get the men screwed over, you know, financially and shit. And sometimes y'all even go as far as getting men you know, to be screwed over with your you know, with your deceitful ways, and them being simps. They running out their wits for y'all. But eventually y'all gonna pay for that, and your beauty in that day is gonna be a curse, because some of you women have been like using your body as a way to gain profit off of it, you know, OnlyFans, all that bullshit, you know, using things like let's just say trying to do meetups to be an escort and shit. Well, guess what? Very soon when these men snatch your ass and Jacob's trouble and shit like that, they're gonna be the ones profiting off of your body, and there ain't gonna be nothing you could do about it, you know. When the Most High, you know, starts to set up your judgment for y'all, it's gonna be gruesome. But with that, I hope I made the lesson edifying. To give all glory, praise, honor to Adonai, Yahweh, Bashim, Shamalak, Yahweh Shah, Bashim, Kakadash, double honor to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, peace, citation, hope for elect, Yahweh Bashim, Shabbat, Bakashah, Shalak, Rayam, Adawayim, Wakawayam, Wa, Abba, Shalom.